can find anything you want to know about your customers in the Customer Center. There's so much, in fact, that there are 2 videos that cover the Customer Center. In this video, I'll show you how to use both the Customer and Jobs list and the Transactions list. In the other video, I'll show all the things you can do working with customer records. So let's start by opening the Customer Center. On the left side of the Customer Center, you'll see 2 tabs, Customers and Jobs and Transactions. This Customer and Jobs tab is sometimes referred to as the Customer List, and the Transactions tab is sometimes referred to as the Transactions list. Let's start with the Customer and Jobs tab. When you select a customer in the list, the right side of the Customer Center shows the customer record. If you select a job, the right side shows the job record. You can filter what the customer list shows by choosing one of the options in the menu up here. Clicking this arrow expands the customer list, and click the arrow over here to close it. You can also search for a customer by typing a word or phrase in the search box. I'll search for people in the town of Freestone. Note that if you press enter, nothing happens. You'll have to actually click the search icon. So you can see there are 4 customers that live in Freestone. If I wanted to search within these results, I could create another custom filter, and I'll change this to Bodega. And you could actually select the fields that you wanted to search, and this is an address field. And you can see there's now only 1 person in the customer list, and their address contains Bodega. To remove the custom filters and the search filter, click the X, and I wanted to point out something that now, I don't know if you recall from when you saw the customer list earlier, but the jobs were indented under the customer. Returning from the search, QuickBooks has changed the view to what they call flat view. To return to the previous view, right-click and click Hierarchical View. QuickBooks warned you that it's going to reset, so just click Yes, and now the jobs are indented under the customer name. The Transactions tab lists all your transactions by type across all your customers. So you'll see estimates if you've turned on the Estimates feature, invoices, statement charges, sales receipts, received payments, credit memos, and refunds. So when you select the transaction type on the tab, the right side shows all the transactions of that type. So if you click Estimates, you'll see all the estimates. Refunds, you'll see all the refunds. Invoices, all the invoices. You can change the transaction shown by choosing from the Filter By menu. So right now it's all invoices, but you could choose to display open invoices or overdue invoices. You can also change the date range. QuickBooks has supplied a lot of date range choices, and you can pick one of these. I'll leave it at this fiscal year. You can also sort the list by clicking the column heading. If you want to view a transaction, you can double-click it. You'll notice that the open balance is in red, which means that it's overdue. So let's go ahead and close this. And while we're on the Transaction tab, let me explain what these icons up here do. You can add a new customer, you can add a new transaction, you can print the list of transactions. Clicking Customer and Job Info will show the customer record for the currently highlighted customer. Go ahead and close this. And export, you can export the transactions to Excel. The Manage Transactions menu also lets you create new transactions, and you can also edit. So I could edit the selected transaction. A note of caution here: if you've received a payment against the invoice, you should not make any changes to it, as this will cause a major accounting headache. If you need to change the amount, for example, if you overcharged the customer, issue a credit memo or refund instead. If you undercharge, create a new invoice for the difference. So let's go back to the list. I'll close this. And let's go back to the Customer and Jobs tab. You can see there are similar icons up here. You can create a new customer or job. You can create a new transaction, and this will create a new transaction for the selected customer. You can print, You can export or import from Excel. You can use Word to prepare letters and collection letters. And finally, there's the Collection Center. This is a center within the Customer Center to show you who has overdue and almost due invoices. There's a whole video explaining how to work with the Collection Center, so for now, let's close it. Before finishing the Customer Center, there are a couple more quick things I want to show you. If you right-click a customer, you'll see a long list of choices. And I want to mention deleting a customer. If a customer has a balance or has at least one transaction, you can't delete the customer, but you can hide the customer from the list. So when this is the case, QuickBooks will display a message and you can just click Make Inactive and click Yes. And now that person is no longer in the list, but if you did that by mistake, which I did, display all customers in the list and click the inactive customer X there. And now that customer has reappeared. Also, when you hover over a customer, QuickBooks will tell you whether or not they have overdue invoices or almost due invoices. One last thing, when you right-click a customer, you can choose Use Register. Each customer has their own register that shows all the transactions related to only that customer. It works like other registers, and that is covered in another video. So for now, I'll just close this. There's so much more. On to the next video.